All right, let's talk about something huge. What does it really mean to love someone? And maybe more importantly, what does it mean to care for them? You know, they sound like they should be the same thing, but are they? Today, we're going to dive deep into the incredible work of psychologist Rollo to unpack these powerful and honestly often confused ideas. Let's get into it.
So, let's kick things off with a story. Meet Philip. Now, on the surface, Philip looked like the absolute perfect partner. He provided for the women in his life. We're talking jobs, money, all the practical stuff. He took care of his wives, his mother, his sister. He did all the things you're supposed to do.
And this is the question that gets right to the heart of everything we're talking about today. See, despite all his actions, Philip never really learned how to care. And that brings up this fascinating problem. You can do all the right things for someone without ever truly connecting with them as a human being. So what on earth was Philip missing?
Okay, to figure that out, we got to get our definition straight. Rollo built his entire framework on just three core concepts: care, love, and will. And trust me, understanding these is the key to unlocking the whole thing.
First up, care. Now let's be clear, we're not talking about the action of buying groceries or paying bills. For May, care is way more fundamental. It's a state of being. It's basically the opposite of apathy. It's that deep gut-level feeling that another person, as a fellow human, actually matters. Their life matters. And that feeling, that's the soil from which everything else grows.
And sprouting right out of that is care. See, love isn't just a mushy feeling. It's an active thing. It's taking genuine delight in just having someone around and being just as invested in their growth and their value as you are in your own. May's point is that without that underlying care, you don't really have love, you just have sentimentality, or maybe a passing crush.
The third piece of this puzzle is will. This is your ability to be intentional, to have self-direction. It's being able to organize yourself and, actually move purposefully toward a goal. And just like love, May believe that a healthy, genuine will has to be rooted in that same fundamental state of care.
And this is where it gets super interesting, the difference between will and wish. A wish is kind of passive, right? It's the daydream, the wouldn't it be nice if. But will is active. It means you're conscious, you're making a choice, and you're actually moving in a direction. Will is the grown-up guiding force that takes our wishes and says, okay, let's make this happen.
So if care is the source of both love and will, what the heck happened? Why do they feel so totally separate in our modern lives? This was May's big critique of our society. We've somehow managed to drive this massive wedge right between two of the most essential parts of being human.
And the fallout from this split is huge. Love, when you cut it off from will, just gets reduced to sex. It's temporary, there's no real commitment, and it's all driven by that passive wish, not an active choice. And on the flip side, will, without the passion of love, just becomes cold, hard willpower. This self-serving, manipulative tool we use to get what we want. Neither one is the whole story.
And believe it or not, this split starts when we're tiny. As infants, our whole world is a yes. We're just in total unity with our parents. But then, as toddlers, we discover our will and we start saying no. Now that no isn't about rejecting our parents. It's about us figuring out that we're a separate person. But if that no gets crushed, if it's not allowed, we learn to cut our will off from the love we feel, and that's where the division starts.
So is it all just doom and gloom? How do we fix this? Well, May's solution was to say, look, our modern idea of love is way too simple. He wanted to bring back a much richer, more complete framework, one built on 4 different kinds of love.
So he draws on centuries of tradition to give us these 4 distinct, but totally interconnected, forms of love. First, let's start at the most basic level, sex. It's a biological function, simple as that. It's not good, it's not bad, it just is. It's the drive for procreation, it's a source of incredible pleasure, and, as we all know, a source of a whole lot of modern anxiety.
And this quote just absolutely nails the weird trap we've set for ourselves. We've made our relationship with this totally natural biological function so complicated. We went from one extreme, where it was taboo and filled with guilt, to a whole new one, where there's pressure to be having it all the time, which creates its own kind of guilt and anxiety.
Okay, so moving up a level, we get to eros. Eros is the psychological drive that takes sex and elevates it. It's not just about physical release. It's about the deep desire to create a lasting union with another person. I mean, as May so brilliantly put it, it's the difference between manipulating organs and actually making love.
I just love this description.
Eros is the passion, the imagination, the creativity. It's the stuff you can't capture in some how-to manual. It's the force that takes the biological act of sex and turns it into something transcendent, something deeply personal. For me, Eros is what saves sex from being meaningless.
But you can't just have wild, passionate eros on its own, right? For it to last, it needs to stand on something solid. And that something is philia, what we'd call intimate friendship. Think about the bond you have with a sibling or a friend you've known forever. It's a slow, relaxed kind of love. You can't force it, it just has to grow over time.
And that's the real beauty of it, isn't it? Philia is just simple. It's not about doing things for someone, it's about simply being with them, accepting them, and enjoying them for who they are. It's that safe, secure base of friendship that actually allows the riskier, more passionate love of Eros to even happen.
And finally, we get to the very top, agape. This is that selfless, altruistic love. It's a genuine concern for another person's well-being, with absolutely no thought of what you might get out of it. It's the kind of love a parent has for a child, this pure, unconditional care.
So now you can see how it all stacks up, kind of like building blocks. At the very bottom, the foundation is agape, that selfless concern. Resting on that, you have philia, our friendships. That friendship makes a healthy eros possible. And that eros is what gives meaning and, well, salvation to our basic biological sex drive. Okay, so we've got our definitions. We've got the 4 kinds of love. The final task, the big goal, according to May, is to bring all of this together and finally, reunite love with will.
So what does that authentic, mature love actually look like? Well, first, it's got to be a blend of all 4 forms: sex, eros, philia, and agape. But it also demands that union of love and will. It needs you to assert yourself, that's your will, but it also needs tenderness and affirming the other person. It means you got to relax the competition, and maybe most importantly, it requires mercy and forgiveness.
And if you remember one thing from all this, let it be this. This is what our friend Philip was missing at the beginning. He could take care of people with his will, with his actions, but he couldn't truly care because his love and his will were completely separate. Real maturity, real connection, comes from bringing them back together.
So as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with a question to chew on. In your own life, in your own relationships, where can you see a divide between your love and your will? And what's maybe one small step you could take to start bringing them back together? Thanks for tuning in.